You're listening to the A3K Network on Anime3000.com. Warning. The views and opinions expressed by this producer are not necessarily the views and opinions expressed by Anime 3000, its producers, partners, or affiliates. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the A3K Podcast. I'm your host with the most that can toast the most roast, Sean Russell. Joining us on today's show is Cody Baier from the other side and special guest, AWBralwer. On this episode, the crew addresses the racial identity of some popular anime characters, hilarious series, Dragon Ball Z, the top 20 manga series of all time, and so much more. Only on the A3K Podcast. Hey, welcome to the A3K Podcast. Today we have an amazing show for you because I am on it. And joining me, we have Cody Baier and AWBralwer coming all the way from parts that he is going to make known. So where can everyone find you, AWBralwer?
Well, you can find me at East Range or just about anywhere else on the internet, be it the Meverse, Tumblr, or Twitter as AWBralwer.
Nice. And on this episode, we're going to go ahead and get started with the What You Been Doing segment. And if you're not familiar with that, you need to listen to more of our episodes.
God damn it.
So I'm not even going to tell you what it is because you should know already.
You son of a bitch.
Jerks. So Cody, it's been a while since you've gone first, I'm guessing. Go ahead and tell us what you've been doing.
Same shit, different day. The usual, the weekly One Piece and Bleach manga, the new episode of JoJo, the new episode of Attack on Titan that just played right before we started broadcasting. I still hate Eren. Been rereading after being sort of like everything coming up JoJo lately with the All-Star Battle game coming out. I've been playing the shit out of that, and with Stardust Crusaders playing, I decided to go and reread Part 4 since now it has a translation that isn't ridiculously bad. JoJo fans know the infamous Duang scans. And I forgot how good Part 4 was. I mean, I literally totally forgot. Like, I don't remember anything about Part 4. I remember Kira and some stuff. And now I'm rereading. I was like, I'm an idiot. This is really good. No wonder the author likes this part best. This is really good. I like Part 4 a lot. And I don't. This is gonna start something. So this might have to do a thing. For those who have been subscribed to me on Twitter may know some developments. Sean Russell, I don't know if you saw. Colton was even like, I wonder how Sean Russell would say about this. So I guess I'll tell you, this might start a thing. This might lead to a future podcast with a special theme to it. Who knows?
You're making me nervous.
My other side co-host, Max Vader, has taken it upon himself to start watching all of that is aired right now, Hunter x Hunter. And the verdict's not good.
What?
It's not. What I'm hearing is not good. I may have to get you and him together. I want to see you two go at it. I really do. Because Max is... Well, he could probably say all his complaints better than I can, because Max is really, really, really good at just verbal bitch slapping. He could dissect things better than I can. But the gist of it, for one thing I know, because he's been watching it as we've been in Skype calls, like with the group. And for one thing, he's been predicting everything that's happened, and that's been pissing him off. there a substantial amount of characters and plot points are like almost completely lifted from other shows. The one of the big things he pointed out was there are no fights, like, and it's not even like something like to compare it to JoJo, the Daniel J. Darby or Surface quote unquote fights. It's like it's always someone dominating the other guy and winning with one or two punches. And like there's a thing with a sequence of supposedly badass opponents that just got all bitch slapped in one punch. And he was saying we're supposed to sympathize with a character that stabbed his mom in the face. And was like, yeah, come at me, bro. And like, which would be fine for a villain, but this is a hero. The rock, paper, scissors fighting style that isn't really rock, paper, scissors. The Dio knockoff. I didn't know how much Hisoka was a ripoff of Dio until Max started like showing some screen caps. Like, it's not cool, man. That's like, you just trace Dio. Like, literally, he's doing the same poses Dio does. His hair just looks like Dio's without bangs. It's not cool, dude. And then the Chimera Ant King guy, that's just basically Cell. He's even got the fucking the injector needle doohickey at the end of his tail. And then you got the gender neutral Catboy, just basically just a ripoff of Schrodinger from Hellsing. And then you got not Sasuke and not Goku and all this shit. So I'm like every new development, he can tell me that like it's not good when I'm hearing. It's not good. So I feel like I want to get you and him together as sort of like a with the pretense of should I or any of the audience, of course, watch any more, and then we'll debate between you and Max, because I want to see that happen now. Because you fervently love Hunter x Hunter, he has gained a massive disdain for it, and I just want to see that happen. I feel like that's a cage match waiting to happen. That's like a pay-per-view thing waiting to happen. I want to see that now.
Yeah, I'm all for it. You would think I'd fly off the handle and kind of be upset and disappointed that someone's speaking ill of my favorite anime of all time, but I'm not that guy, because at the end of the day, what I have going for me is the fact that I know I'm right and Max is wrong. So I could sit here and I could be that guy and be like, well, but I would rather hear him out, hear what he has to say what I have to say, and then, go to the comment section and have everyone else with, what's that word I'm looking for?
Bitch?
Taste. Back me up. And then we can go from there.
Well, I'm saying he's been making a better case than you have. I gotta say.
You see, here's the thing. You can make a good case when you have an agenda. But when you're just gonna sit there,
he's getting paid off by the anti-Hunter x Hunter people.
No, he went into the series. He went into the series looking for faults, and
he didn't really.
Really? I don't seriously think he went into the series because he wanted to watch Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, he went into the series because he wanted to find fault in a seemingly what's the word I'm looking for? Almost perfect series.
No, I can tell you why he started watching. He started watching it from listening to the A3K podcast and you, basically.
And because he was so moved by my passion for Hunter x Hunter that he wanted to experience the same thing I experienced is the reason he watched it.
Basically, like let's see if this
I feel like I know Max Vader a little bit to know that wasn't his pure intention.
Max has no agenda. I can tell you, after knowing this guy for years, he is the most academic son of a bitch. I mean, he's a philosophy major, for God's sake. He's the most academic, like, he lives life in the Gendo pose, just analyzing everything, which is why he can be a bit of a
Cody,
sometimes.
Cody, set it up.
I'm going to set it up.
Set it up. I want to have this conversation. We were supposed to have a Naruto one, but he backed out of it. So this will be a good chance for us to have that conversation.
Do it. Because I was telling him when he was saying this, I want to make this happen. I want to set this up. I want to be the Don King of this situation. I want to make this happen. We'll do this like, I don't know, if this will be the next A3K podcast or an A3K panel. I'm going to set you two up. And we're going to go. I want to be there. I want to referee this thing because I want to hear this go down because it's going to be glorious and magical.
All right, let's do it. You heard that, folks, ladies and gentlemen, an A3K Podcast exclusive. Sean Russell gets to go against the only other person that speaks ill of Hunter x Hunter that I know of on the internet. And I don't know about you, but the internet is a pretty big place. So, yeah, that's Max Fader, everybody.
This is going to be great. It's going to be pure, unadulterated entertainment. Stay tuned.
I have to see this myself.
I'm going to warn you now, though, Sean. Max will get in your head. I've been in debates with him. You're going to hear a debate with him because he and I got into it on something on.
I feel like a shonen villain right now. Like that's kind of just been sitting back and letting people think that he doesn't have power. And I'm going against someone who might underestimate me. And I don't want to show my true power, but I will show my true power. And when I show my true power, it won't be my true power because my true power is making you think my true power is my true power.
What the fuck are you even saying?
So,
exactly.
So basically, you're talking about younger Tagoro from Yu Yu Hakusho.
I'm going to go ahead and say yes.
Because when they first met, it seemed like, oh, that's it. Then the Dark Tournament happened, and it's like, crap, this guy's strong.
The muscles get big.
Alrighty then. So that was an interesting development that I did not expect to happen in the history of things that happen because I never thought anyone would speak ill of Hunter x Hunter. But hey, if anyone were to do it, it would be Max Fader. So So anything else that you've been doing other than shattering my dream of not having to defend Hunter x Hunter?
One big thing, yes. By the time this podcast airs, it will be online. I just set up the Cloud Scratcher store with 3 T-shirts will be debuting. The store goes live. We're recording this Saturday. The store goes live tomorrow with the weekly Sunday update. Right now, like I said, I got 3 T-shirt designs. You can get not even just T-shirts, you can get them in a wide variety of shirts, ranging from T-shirts to tank tops to hoodies to even a girly cut. And you can even get a little baby onesie of each shirt design.
Could I get a girly cut for me, if that exists?
You know what? If that's damage, you go right ahead. You get a girly cut. And then see a doctor. But yeah, you'll be able to get them in all kinds of variety of styles and colors, and this is a great setup I got. The good folks over at Redbubble, these guys have given me so many options I didn't even know I could do. Now, like apparently I can, through these guys, I can sell iPod cases, I could do posters, stickers. So if these shirts do well enough, be looking at all kinds of Cloud Scratcher merch. So stay tuned, and if you read Cloud Scratcher and you listen to the A3K podcast and you didn't know the store was up, go buy some shit. You could show all the cool designs, because I didn't just make some tacky shirts with fucking logo on it. No, I made some bitchin' stylish shirts. And you can go get those shirts. And if those shirts do well enough, you get all kinds of merch. You get iPod cases. You need an iPod case. How cool would that be? You think that'd be cool? Go buy some shirts.
Yeah. All right, you hear that? Go buy some shirts.
Buy some shirts!
Stop being a jerk.
Buy some shirts, yeah.
Buy some damn shirts.
Yeah.
Before you can reach through this monitor and smack you.
Fucking shirts!
Buy some damn shirts. And love your mama, fool. Yeah, so... Yeah, I checked out Redbubble after last week's podcast, and it's actually pretty cool. So I actually set an account up for Anime 3000, and you can buy some shirts from us too. But unlike Cody, all we have are crappy logos. So next we have AWBralwer. So what have you been doing, or what have you been dotting?
Well, with me, mostly I've been going through my list of, again, I've been watching anime forever and just keeping up with what I watch in my head. So only like a good month ago, I started an anime list. So I've been going over a lot of anime that I realized I didn't finish. So I've mostly been watching. I just finished watching Yu Yu Hakusho. I watched the dub version because that's what I started watching on Toonami. I'm catching up at the end of Hikaru no Go. Just finished H2O Footprints in the Sand, and just recently finished 2x2 Shinobu. And then on the manga side, I'm mostly finishing off Venus versus Virus, Zombie Powder, mangas like that.
Ooh, kicking it old school with Zombie Powder.
Right, like I forgot I started on it and never finished. I used to just go to the bookstore and pick them up every day.
Yeah.
And mostly trying to catch up with Detective Conan because it ran off and left me.
Well, it's like 1,000 chapters in, so.
At least
I wish you luck.
One truth will prevail.
Ooh.
The truth that I will never catch up.
Next, I guess it's me. And what I've been doing is, after so much mentioning of this show over the last couple of weeks, I decided to read the first chapter of the Gintama manga. And I enjoyed it. And I actually remember it brought me back to the series because I did watch the first episode of the series. And because I had no idea what to expect when I first watched it. I thought it was supposed to be like a Bleach ripoff. Have any of you watched Gintama?
I haven't seen it, but I want to. I've heard nothing but good things from people I trust, and it seems funny.
I was introduced to Gintama by Shonen Jump. I used to collect them a lot, and I started reading it back then. And that's one I forgot to put on my list. I've read a lot of Gintama and seen a lot of anime, and I forgot to put it on my list. I should probably get into that.
So yeah, I'm gonna be checking out Gintama, and I watch a couple of series for the Crunchy Report that I do along with AWBralwer. We record every Tuesday. We record about 4 little episodes where we cover Naruto Shippuden. What's the other shows that we cover?
Fairy Tail, One Piece, and
the best show ever.
Hunter.
That's right. And so I have to watch those shows every week. And I don't have to do anything, but
I'm my own man.
I do whatever I want. I go on this show and not watch. I go on that show and not watch anything and just pretend like I know what I'm talking about.
I didn't watch shit. I just picked my nose for an hour.
Watch this. Watch me do it. Yeah. So in this episode of Fairy Tail, the thing about Fairy Tail for me is it feels like the way the characters are progressing isn't similar to like shows, let's say like Hunter x Hunter, where you have this rich story and this rich narrative. But Fairy Tail just comes off kind of, I'm crazy, I'm kooky. And this episode kind of had that in it, but it has some serious fight scenes as well. And the coloring of the fight scenes was pretty interesting. But like Natsu, what happened with Natsu kind of took me by surprise. See, I could do it.
Damn, Sean was a master bullshitter.
You know what I'm saying? Did that, and it just happened to be one episode where Natsu didn't fight them. Like, oh, he didn't read anything.
No. Then what I'll do as well is I'll scrub the episode while I'm talking, and then I'll look for a scene and then describe the scene. So it'd be like, then that one scene, about 565. What? 565? I hope I don't say that. 526. What kind of timestamp is that?
Military time?
Out of all the shit I could have said.
It's 565. That's like a minute.
At 592, you might find. I'm just kidding. I've never done that.
Wait, are you sure you've never done that with One Piece? Because I know there was.
No, I've done I've done that with Fairy Tail. I did that with the last episode of Fairy Tail.
Right.
I sometimes I can't. Fairy Tales, like, I honestly, no bull, I fall asleep during Fairy Tail.
I can understand that because, like I said, it's weird. I like it because I like Bobobo, and it's weird as heck like Bobobo. But I know it's one of those you either love it or you hate it type of anime. And I don't know anybody in the middle.
I loved the Funimation first couple of seasons. You know, it was very interesting, but it's just like, that was on my own time. That was like on my leisure, and I wasn't really watching anything else. But now, like, and that was before Hunter x Hunter. You know what I mean? It's like you watch a certain level of series, and then you start to see the flaws in some stuff that you liked previously. And then normally that's when you kind of say, okay, well, you know, you're a great employee. I really valued your services, but unfortunately we don't have any more room for you here at this establishment. I wish you best of luck and best for your future endeavors. But when you have to be forced with that employee because you have no other option, then you kind of just have to shut up and sometimes ignore some of the bullshit that they do. And that's how I feel with Fairy Tail right now. I can't fire it, but I don't necessarily want it working for me.
So it has what I call the Dragon Ball Z effect, where before this generation of anime fans that mostly started with Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, everyone grew up on Dragon Ball Z. And now we look back at it and we're like, why did we think that was a good anime?
Whoa.
He just screams and powers up.
Well, hey, anime. No, I'll give you the anime adaptation is pretty bad, but the manga and Kai.
Manga's good.
You must not be talking about Kai, because Kai is balls awesome.
I haven't seen Kai. I just like the older
Kai will remind. And this is the effect I had when I saw Kai. Kai reminds you why the series is influential, because like, oh, this is actually pretty good without all the fucking filler.
Yeah, I would probably agree with the other one, but I'm sitting. Where you could sit and watch a show and like get mad when it ends, it's done its job, because I'm sitting there watching Dragon Ball Z. I'm watching DBZ Kai, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels like the first time I watched it. You know, and it was really good. So
Dragon Ball. What's weird about Kai? Kai reminds you that Dragon Ball had story, because Because all the filler in Z stretched the fight scenes. It was always stretching the fucking fight scenes. And then you watch Kai, and it is like a 50-50 balance between fight and story. It's like, oh shit, Dragon Ball had story to it. It had characters, and they had personalities. It's easy to forget over the years.
I'm the guy who pisses off his friends by pointing out the fact that I believe Dragon Ball, when he was still young, and Sailor Moon had a better story than Dragon Ball Z.
Well, they had. When you again watch Kai or the manga, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z really aren't that different. I mean, like it's more. It's less cartoony in its approach, but it still has that Toriyama weirdness. I mean, fuck the Great Emperor, the last several storylines was leading up to is named after a refrigerator, and all of his minions are named after perishable foods. And his top team of people, his strongest warriors, not only are they named after dairy products, but you got like one of them is a midget who does the warudo, and nobody likes him. And then you got two dudes that are vaguely gay that are doing all this posing. And then you got I don't even know what Ginyu's deal is, but he's weird. And then it still had that weirdness. I mean, fuck, Boo. Boo was the perfect villain to end on. I mean, say what you will about all the sagas and, the fact that because each villain was supposed to be the last one, each major villain of Z kind of comes out of nowhere. But Boo was perfect because he was like everything. He brought magic back. He was a little bit silly, but a little bit dramatic. He was weird, but he was cool. He was stylish.
He turned Deborah to a freaking cookie. You can't beat that.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I love Boo because he was like, old Dragon Ball got pissed and just crashed new Dragon Ball.
Right.
It's like, hey, it's this fat, weird thing. What were you expecting Majin Buu, the Destroyer, to look like? Because this is a fat weirdo who turns people into food. Oh, he turned good, but his evil side split. His evil side looks like a fucking shriveled old thing. Oh, now he's all buff, but he's still kind of weird because he still blows smoke like a tea kettle and he has no jaw. And he turned fucking Chi-Chi into a cookie. And into chocolate. And he just stomped her because I love it because she got in his face. That's right, it was an egg because she got in his face and he didn't even do anything. He was like, meh, and he turned to an egg and smashed it, and then he just casually wiped out the human race because he was there. It's like, hey, I can spot every person from here. This'll be neat. And he just screams holes in time and space, and then he starts eating people in the weird, and then they go inside, and it was so weird, but it was great because fucking shit had been so sci-fi forever, and it's like, okay, weird magic time with fat guy and turn you into a cookie. And it's final battle. Nobody's even in their strongest forms, and he's a little imp, and he's like, and this is crazy, and it's great. And
what was he?
That was great, by the way. Because you always had that upward power thing going on, but then the final battle, no one was their strongest, and it was just this crazy fucking fight, and it was great. But
I love that fight scene with the Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Kid Buu where they were like, that's the first time I ever noticed that their Kai blasts making flames surround their body and stuff. That was an epic fight.
Yeah, like that was good. But like, then you go and watch Z, and it's like, again, and you're right, it's that fact where you like, why was I into this? But it's like, Z was gross, but I think like that did kind of set some precedents because now no one does that anymore. Because obviously someone got the memo. Because you watch Z and it's like you almost want to commend them for like, you found some ways to bullshit for time, friends. Like, has it been last 5 minutes? What happened? Like when everybody was fighting, when Nappa and Vegeta show up. First, they're like staring each other down and just talking. I was like, oh my God, has it already been 10 minutes? Okay, Cyberman thing happens. Like, okay, now Nappa steps in. Oh, he's charging up. Okay, you're just going to loop the same 3 frames of rocks rising up? It's been 5 minutes, dude. Time for something new. What the... And then, like, you just realize a half hour went by. All they did was stare at this motherfucker.
And then the narrator wants to come in and just start throwing some bull out there, like last time on Dragon Ball Z. Ignore the fact that they were procrastinating for 5 whole hours, and Piccolo was getting shot up for 20 minutes for the beginning of this episode, and finally Gohan decides to jump in and save his sorry ass. That's what the narrator does.
It's like the narrator comes in, last time on Dragon Ball Z, and you're like, bitch, don't try to act like things happened. Nothing happened last episode. You son of a bitch, dying bitch.
At least GT had the best narrator for what was going on to me. Because GT was not exciting to me. And so the narrator just seemed all unenthusiastic. Like, it's like someone put a gun to his head and he's like, last time on Dragon Ball GT.
Yeah, oh my God, GT. It's just the worst dub, I swear to God. I like GT, and then I watched GT's dub. What did you do? Because I don't like what I'm watching anymore. I really liked what I was watching. Now I don't. What have you done? And I think part of it was that damn rap song. To hell with that rap. And they changed every line of dialogue in GT. It got to the point where I get the feeling they said, fuck it, YOLO. We'll just make a new show. I just run there. Like, it was funny because I got the episodes with dual audio because I was a teenager and pirated everything. And, like, for shits and giggles, there was an option to have what's called dub titles, which is just the dub script and subtitles for basically deaf people. And it's funny as shit when you have that with the Japanese audio, because then you just see all this dialogue go by when no one's talking. Like they're just staring at each other, and then you see all these lines of dialogue come by. It's like, wait, no one's talking. This is a fucking this is just I'm looking at telepathy, and like all these lines go by, and then like somebody will say like some really simple phrase like "ooh," which is something like. It'll be something like, very well done. And then you'll see something like, bitch ass, what do you think you're doing? Like, what what did you do? It's surreal. If anybody
who did the dub for that?
Funimation. Because it was funny because Funimation of old used to be terrible. I used to hate them. I mean, I was a teenager. I had that dumb, teenage nerd hate for them, but it was still like, they sucked. And it's weird because then you watch the Yu Yu Hakusho dub, which you talked about, and you could see the transition. You could see... Right. You could see their growth in that dub because first of all, they all learned to act because it's really surreal to go back and watch the old Dragon Ball Z dub when none of the Funimation actors knew how to act, and now they're like the best actors in anime. It's like Chris Sabat's one of the best actors out now, but then you go watch old Dragon Ball Z and he's like, I am Vegeta! I will destroy him. Like, whoa, Chris Sabat can't act. What the fuck?
Dude, if you watch the old Dragon Ball Z, everyone remembers that horrible Piccolo scene. Yes, I can win. I can do this. This fool literally said "foosh" when he flew off. If you pay attention, when he flew off, he says "foosh."
They were terrible. Like, I get it. Like, GT at that point, I'm pretty sure they stopped caring. They just went balls out and they just fucked that show up because GT. Love it or hate it. Me, I like it. I could defend it all day, but I'm not. I like it. Love it or hate it. Even if you hate it, you have to admit they fucked that show up.
Yes,
they fucked that show up so bad.
Why did Ken exist if she didn't go Super Saiyan?
Like you got the goofy white guy hip hop music while like I'm on Dragon Ball GT, like stripping out GT for like 10 minutes. Every time that narrator said the title on Dragon Ball G. It's like, dude, you just GT'd through 5 lines of dialogue. What are you doing?
Oh man, I wish this could go on forever, but I'm going to stop it short, and we're gonna go to a quick break. But when we come back, we're gonna continue this laugh fest with a poll question.
Maybe the rest has been doing.
Yes, I kind of did it. I talked about Gintama, and I talked about the Crunchy Report, and that segued into a 30-minute conversation about Dragon Ball Z.
Your list, you did One Piece.
Yeah, which is part of my Crunchy Report.
Oh, can I have one last thing to say about Funimation in general?
No. Yeah. So we're gonna go to the. Go ahead, AWBralwer.
Basically, like he said with Yu Yu Hakusho, you can tell their dubbing got better because if you look at that, you can easily see Yusuke had some of the best dialogue and best voice lines of Funimation history, in my opinion.
That actually benefited from them adding curse words like they would do in the like goofy ways in the Z movies.
Right.
All of a sudden, like, you damn helling bastard! Oh, man. It's like, but like, Yu Yu Hakusho worked because Yusuke was supposed to be he was a punk. So they would throw in some unnecessary cursing every now and then. It actually worked.
You know who I'm going to give credit to? I think that Justin Cook might have had something to do with that because not only because he was the voice of Yusuke, but because he became a director on a lot of the series. Like, you'll see his name credited for a lot of the titles that came after that. And he's also he's actually pretty young comparatively to a lot of people that have been working on those series. So I'm just going to give him credit because I want to. And yeah.
Like, you can see in that, like in the very beginning, you can kind of see shades of old Funimation with some goofy name changes they do. Mm-hmm. Some lines of dialogue that don't need to be there, but it's not as bad as Z, but it's still there. But then as the series goes, it gets more and more faithful, and you can see the Funimation of today where they're faithful, but they still try to spice up the script to make it more palatable.
I think they made the transition to the Funimation of now with Full Metal Alchemist. I think that's when you really started to see the quality grow with their title, with their dub.
Yeah, that's when you can see this is who we are now. I think even they know their Z dub sucked. They can't say it because it's unprofessional, but they throw hints here and there. Like when they released the Dragon Box and announced that it was like Japanese with subs by default. And like when they announced, I remember when they announced that at Otakon, and the guy announcing it kind of gave this look, like that kind of looked like we know. And like you ask an actor that was on that show about that dub, and they'll talk about their experience and stuff, but if you ever, they'll always throw in a cheeky little thing here and there that just tells you that everybody at Funimation knows we were young and dumb when we did the Z dub.
Oh yeah, that dub. Yeah, we have a new singer, Bakura.
Yes, even with Kai, is like when Kai was announced, like, hey, guess what? We're recasting everyone but like 3 people. Yeah, like they announced that shit like because they knew like, okay, it's not gonna be Chris Sabat playing half the people. We got some, and guess what? Frieza, man, voiced by a man, and it was like, yeah, it's like we know, don't worry, we know. It was like apology accepted. Kai has an amazing joke. It's surreal when you turn on Kai and Goku starts talking. Like, oh my gosh, Sean Shimmer learned to act. What the fuck? Goku is acting.
You know what they could have did if they want to piss everybody off? If they really want to piss everybody off, they could have got that stupid Jason Chatwin guy from the Dragon Ball movie and let him voice Goku. They would have pissed everybody off.
I don't know what to do. Oh, no.
And just like Dragon Ball Z, how it's not gone away, this conversation has not gone away. So I'm gonna come in, and I'm gonna come in like Frieza, and I'm gonna blow up this planet, and we're gonna go to a break. And and if somehow Dragon Ball Z finds its way back into our conversation, I'm just going to use like my superpowers of editing and cut it out. So with that being said, we're going to a break. And when we come back, because I'm kind of pissed you ruined my perfect segue of hilarity. And we're going to talk about some hilarious manga and anime that we've all seen. And we'll be right back.
Just how outrageous are the hosts of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast?
Bulma, Brief, from Dragon Ball Z, is such a tease.
Anime.
You're gonna go over to Master Roshi's house every day, wearing your little shorts, your little sexy tops.
Addicts.
But you're not gonna let him tap that ass, even though he wants to tap it, and he gets nosebleeds all the time.
Anonymous.
He's 500 years old, the man can't die till he gets laid. Let the man rest in peace. All I gotta say is, Master Roshi's sperm count is over 9,000.
Podcast. Don't miss a moment. Tune in at AAApodcast.com and iTunes.
Alrighty, so yeah, we're back, and we still have AWBralwer. You're still there, AWBralwer?
Define there.
And I'll take that as an affirmative. And we have Cody Baier and, of course, me, Sean Russell.
Woo-woo.
Just in case you started this podcast from the middle. Okay, and we're going to be talking about our poll question, which is, what is the most hilarious manga or anime that you've seen? And before we go to our Twitterverse and their responses, we're going to go to our guest hosts, or our hosts. So we'll have the guests go first. So AWBralwer, what titles did you find super hilarious?
Well, on the animated department, I go with School Rumble or Sergeant Frog. Now, Sergeant Frog, I refuse to watch the dub. I tried it. I couldn't do it. I watched the sub. School Rumble is the opposite. I prefer the dub over the sub because Brandon Potter alone made that show what it is, because Harima was hilarious to me. Like some of the lines, like he was talking about Timmy, like, I forgot I was an idiot too. Just those type of lines just were delivered perfectly. And I could, at one point I was without internet and was just rewatching School Rumble over and over every day and still laughing because there was always something to laugh at. And on the manga side of things, hands down, it has to be a manga called Sundome. Looks like it says Sundome, but it's pronounced Sundome. And it is a pervy love story that's funny as heck because this woman just, this girl and this guy, she just abuses this guy and tells him he's not allowed to jack off and stuff like that. And he agrees to it for some dumb reason until he gets mad sometimes. It's a silly story, but it ends up being a love story and it's funny. So, yeah, I would recommend people to check out Sundome. Or Sundome, however you want to pronounce it.
And Cody, what would you pick?
Well, first of all, I don't know how you didn't like the Sergeant Frog dub. That shit was hilarious. But that aside, I'd probably say Detroit Metal City. There's a lot of funny ones. Excel Saga is pretty funny. What I've seen of Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, that was pretty good. But I gotta go Detroit Metal City. Detroit Metal City, I've never belly laughed at a manga like that and either before or since Detroit Metal City. I mean, like, some of y'all probably gonna would get a trigger warning with that shit because is raunchy and like good raunchy, not panty and stocking raunchy. Great parody, great. Just it's clever at the same time as being over the top and ridiculous. Fucking hilarious. And what's great is the anime is in like 15-minute shorts, so you can just digest that shit quick. Especially if you want to see, if you want to jump right into an episode, it's going to make you laugh harder than you've ever laughed. Go check out the Tokyo Tower episode of Detroit Metal City. That was so great. Or oh my god, or the first one with the whole misunderstanding after the concert, and especially what the newspaper says at the end. Oh, it's great. It's just such a good show. It is so fucking funny. Everybody should go check out Detroit Metal City. One day it'll be dubbed. God damn it.
One day. And I guess if I had to pick a show, I would pick. It's actually. I'd probably pick Cromorty High.
Oh, that is a good one. How did I forget that one? I'm a bastard. That is a really good one. That's one of the
very
best.
Very irreverent, just all over the place, and I just like the type of humor that. I kind of like. That
fucking episode where I think it was Hokuda, the guy, like this quote unquote villain guy, when he first came to school, and he opens that door and they're all fucking slapping Freddy's head. I mean, just fucking Freddy in general. Oh my god, fucking Cromartie. I love it. I love it. Oh, I need.
If you haven't seen it, I actually caught that show. I think it was on Stars or some cable channel, and watched the whole thing. It was a great show. So definitely check that
Encore.
out. Sorry?
I'm thinking it was Encore. There's no Encore used to show.
Yeah, Encore Action or something like that. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. It was one of those channels. So now it's time to go and see what everyone else picked. And just to let you know, you can check us out on Twitter at anime3000.com. The poll questions go up randomly throughout the week, and then just reply to it, and we'll give you a shout on the A3K podcast so people can check out whatever it is you're doing, because I'm assuming you are on Twitter because you crave attention. So the first person we have Sam at Sam6782, which I'm assuming are his 2 birth years. He picks Gintama.
He was born twice.
Yeah, he was born twice. Ooh, Sam. Might be the second. Gintama. Gintama. That's the first of many Gintamas on this list, and we spoke about Gintama earlier. And it seems like it could be a funny series, but I don't know enough to say it is or not. I think AWBralwer said it was funny, right?
Right. It's funny to me, but again, I would put when it comes to those type, I would put Bubble Ball above it because it's so randomly funny to me.
And Gintama's probably more conventional right. In its humor. Albel Knox at Trippy, TR3PP Hippie. Trippy Hippie. This is hard, but I give it to Blade Play.
I've never heard of it, but it sounds dirty.
It sounds like the dirty version of Beyblade.
Sounds like some weird hentai parody of Ninja Scroll or something.
I was just thinking that, but I didn't want to say it.
And then like you don't want to see what they do with that sword.
It would have to be a really twisted hentai to be a version of Ninja Scroll.
So it would have to be a hentai.
Well, I mean, but like Ninja Scroll is not that far off.
Well, no, I'm wrong because there is a hentai version of Ninja Scroll. It's called La Blue Girl.
Oh my god! Why do I know that show? I'm gonna shut up before I tell it myself.
Too late. Next we have Super Neku at Super Neku, and he also picks Gintama. Dame Dr. Foxy Brown. I believe she is from the Ass Backwards podcast, and you can find her at Dame Dr. Foxy B. Junkawa Itsumo Arenochi Gu.
You may know it as Hare and Gu.
There you go. Oh, I know. I've seen that show. It's like the little short people, and they're like if in a jungle or something like that.
Short people got no reason to live. Yeah, you know.
Short people got and
No reason.
And Gintama, another Gintama vote. Death blow at the _greatest 48. He picks Excel Saga.
Good job.
Oh, yes. Let it blossom.
You just remember.
Man.
Oh, Excel Saga. That show was like Excel Saga was like the everything for people at one point in time. That was like whenever you brought up Furikuri, you had to bring up Excel Saga for better or worse.
Well, because when someone brings up Fooly Cooly, you gotta wash that stank out of your mouth. So you bring up some Excel.
If you like that, you should check out Excel Saga because they do a better job at blah 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 blah.
Because it's actually funny and it has real jokes.
That was actually the conversation and it was like one of the first. Not if my memory serves me correct, it was like it did that either better than anything before it or did something.
Well, it was probably one of the greatest anime parodies because it parodied fucking everything. Like each episode was a parody of a different anime genre, and then like it would even do like meta parodies. Like it had one episode with no jokes, no comedy, but the comedy was in the fact that everything was being taken so super serious. So that in effect was comedy when there was no comedy, and then they had two simultaneous storylines going on. One was like pretending to be serious and deep, but it was of course comedic, and the other was just wacky and random. But then they kind of intersected, and then the wacky and random plot line became pretending to be serious and deep, and the serious and deep plot line became wacky and random. And
was that done by the other Watanabe?
Yeah, that's Shinichi Watanabe. No,
the one that had the heart attack.
Here's the thing about the
pretty much both Watanabes are great in their own way. One's greater than the other, but they're both great.
Here's the thing about the serious part. They wanted you to take that part serious when they had that part comes in with other people. But how serious can you be when your main hero name is Nobashin? That's just a laughable name to me.
Well, it's a play on Watanabe because he himself was a parody because he was the director's self-insert character. And he was a parody of basically wish fulfillment self-insert characters. And then he was supposed to have this like serious B plot going on, but part of the joke was the audience is never in on it, which in and of itself is a parody of something anime does a lot, where it just like throws around information like a mystery and like you'll find out later, and then it's just you never find out. But like that in and of itself, that was like Excel Saga had so much parody going on. It was like a parody onion. You just peel it back layers. There's more parody. There's jokes in jokes. It's being subtle while wacky at the same time. Like they had the episode that was parodying fan service shows to the point where like no men were allowed to be in it. Any male characters that showed up, their faces were never shown. They were always off screen. Everybody.
I think I have to watch. You make me want to watch this show again. I think I didn't get it.
Yeah, like oh god, and even in that episode, like everyone had a shine. Like, for no reason now, all the women were glossy. Like, they had just an extra sheen on their skin. And just these absurd situations. And then they had the final episode that takes place after the final episode called Going Too Far, that is intentionally designed to be unairable on TV.
Oh, like, yeah, that one where the pervy, what was he, a doctor or whatever, was messing with a little girl and these big, giant airbags type boobs flew out and knocked him out the room.
She had giant... Turned out the lowly girl had giant boobs, and then he didn't want to fuck her anymore. It's like, nah, I'm sorry. He said, and word for word, big tits and pubic hair, just a big turn off for me.
And then she started trying to rape him. He was crawling away. I'm like, turn the tables.
Because he was great, because he was a parody of Lolicons. He was both a parody of Lolicon shows and the people that watch Lolicon shows. Even to the point, like, the establishing moment with him when he's meeting with Kabapu, it seems like they're having, like, kind of that shady meeting at a park bench, but then you see where they are, and it's in front of a playground, and he's staring at all the little kids on the playground. And even Kabapu's like, why do we have
that show is acceptable for people just getting to anime, or do you think it'll fly over their heads?
No, I think it might fly. I think they'll get some of the jokes. They won't get all of the jokes. Like, my brother saw some of it, and he thought it was funny, and he's not into anime. He just likes comedy. He especially loved that final episode. I think they'll get half of the show, but the other half will go over their heads.
I think that's similar to like Community. Like, any of you ever watched that show?
I have not, but my brother is a huge fan.
Like, there's so many layers to that show. Like, if you just watch it, you won't get it. There's no way you can get it. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. If you're not like a fan of like pop culture, television, and movies, there's so many things that'll fly overhead and under the radar with that particular show. Well, too bad it's going to be going to Netflix pretty soon.
All right. When I first started watching Fully Cooley, I had just started getting into anime, so I didn't get half of the jokes until I went back and watched it recently. And like he said, I'm like, oh, it all makes sense now.
Fully Cooley or Excel Saga?
Excel Saga. Why did I say Fully Cooley?
Excel Saga. I don't know. No, yeah, I don't know. Because that show wasn't funny. That show was just postmodern.
I love Fully Cooley, though. I'm weird.
And then next we have Colton from Sniper King 323.
Sure.
And can we guess what he picked?
He's a big fan of Kill la Kill, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Kill la Kill.
Gintama, of course, he hosts the Life Lessons Gintama manga podcast. And he also picked Daily Lives of High School Boys.
Well, for a minute there, I thought he was going to say Daily Life with Monster Girl. I'm like, Colton, no.
And then we had that one that JD knew, but I don't know because I don't read. What's that? Katakana? Hiragana? That's not hiragana. That's katakana. What does it matter? Purple Kawashima. And they picked some episodes and manga chapters of Magi, Labyrinth of the Magic, about Aladdin. I watched like 2 episodes of it. I honestly had no problem with it. It's just I didn't keep up with it. Like, I feel like if I were to watch that show, I would enjoy it, not like rave about it, but not say don't watch it.
It's just weird to me. It's pretty much just whitewashed Arabian Nights. I mean, I don't mean to sound Tumblr-y or anything, but it seems like something's up when you have a series based on like 1001 Arabian Nights, and you got these characters that are visibly Arabian, look like they just stepped out of Aladdin, and they are lily white as fuck. It's like, you couldn't like, is Japan that averse to brown people? You can't just brown them up a little bit. They're Arabian Nights. They're Arabian. Arabian people aren't that pink. What are you doing? That was weird to me. It's easy to make fun of too, and I'm all about the low hanging fruit.
I think it's just funny in general whenever I see a black person in an anime that's not stereotypical big look weird looking person. Like, I love Gidgit from Eureka 7. I'm like, that is the hottest anime girl ever because she looks normal. I'll take Gidgit.
I'll refrain, but hey, if you want to avoid that shit, don't ever pick up Terra from Mars. Avoid that shit like the plague.
Part of me
anime for a while.
Part of me when I see a black person in anime is like, why did they have to go that route with them? And then part of me is like, well, at least there's a black person in an anime series. And then another part of me is just like, do I like this show? And then the final part of me is like, let me watch something else.
But Gidgit was a respectable character, though. Gidgit was a pretty respectable character in that series.
Gidgit was barely black. Gidgit was just kind of like, looked like she came out of the tanning salon more than she was like an actual black character.
But what defines a black character?
Like, to actually have the physical features of a black person.
And what's the physical features of a black person?
You think I'm going to back away from this? You know me, Sean. I will keep going.
Go ahead.
But like someone like Dutch from Black Lagoon, or
but not all black people look the same.
No, but each race does have distinct features. I learned this shit. I learned how to draw people, and that includes people of different races, and each race has their own little traits.
But that would assume that black person isn't mixed with anything.
But
then they're a mixed race person, and they have the traits of mixed race people.
And we all know that society classifies people by the mixture of their races, and not just by that one drop of black DNA makes you black.
Well, if it's one drop of black DNA, it's not going to affect your personal appearance. Like my girlfriend is like 1/13 black, but she has no black features because it's only 1/13. but when you whatever the majority of your DNA is going to affect your physical features, and then each race is going to have those features, and that's how you learn to draw people and to be able to make them look identifiably this, that, or the other to the audience or to the naked eye. Well, unlike you have like some anime out there will just like take a white person, color them brown. Oh, you're black now. like I love the show. I love it.
Sword Art Online, look.
Yeah, and I love this show, but I still got to give it shit for this. Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water. Oh, Nadia, you must be from Africa. You look like the rest of us, but you're brown. You must be from Africa. No. Oh, we're going to go to Africa? What do the Africans look like? Brown, white people. No. But then it's like, okay, what's the alternative? Okay, Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball Z. You know what? It's like, but occasionally
you have that chart of different types of black people in anime, and Popo's like very
Popo. Those are the edges of the scale. Nadia
Popo.
But at least with Gidgit, the only thing she had against her is she had blue eyes for some reason. But I felt like she was drawn to look like a black girl. She had big enough lips. They gave her hips. She was. I knew a black girl that was shaped just like her, and I'm like, yes, she's black. She just has blue eyes for some reason.
I'll take it.
Her skin tone was more of an orange, though. She really did just look more tan, than.
Maybe we all should just Google a picture of Gidgit, because if we look at the same person.
It's been a while since I've seen Eureka 7. I care not to see it again. I saw enough of it for a lifetime. I still have.
Adult Swim, huh?
I'm still.
I feel like this is like the race draft on Dave Chappelle. Like we're all trying to claim Gidgit from Eureka 7. She's not black. I'm telling you, she's just a white person with no. I know a black person that has this.
I don't want to claim Gidgit.
Let's just give her to the Asians and keep it moving. All right, Gear 9000 at Gear 9000. Another vote for Gintama. Kimmy at Kimmy Cament Ment.
That's about right.
And Gintama again. Oh, a new one. Cutie, like Cuddy. Ben Mira at KYUDB picked Golden Boy and Great Teacher A. I've heard of Golden Boy. I know that voice actor from Golden Boy is at every convention. Isn't it like Douglas something? Beeler?
I don't know anything about Golden Boy. So.
And then Great Teacher A. Know that thing?
I know Great Teacher Onizuka, not Great Teacher A.
I know.
By the way.
Yeah, that's another show that I think I watched a few episodes of.
None of us is a great dub just for Steve Bloom's performance as Onizuka. Like the dub should be watched if not for that alone.
I think that's a show that time forgot. Like GTO, like so many people talked about it back then, but it's kind of like
yeah.
Anyway, Kenneth Casper at Casper2 Kenneth. I'm a huge Gintama fan, but I've got to go with Nichijou. I got to give Nichijou some love too. What is that again? It sounds familiar.
I vaguely aware of it. I just remember finding out about it, looking it up, and not liking what I saw and moving along.
Any impressions from you, AWBralwer?
I don't even think what's the name of it?
Something about a little. I think it involved cutesy people and maybe a loli.
Wait, you said Nichijou?
Yeah.
I think I've seen it, but I don't remember what the heck it is, so it probably wasn't funny enough for me to remember. But the name sounds real familiar. I think it is one of the ones I've watched.
Also, I'm skipping ahead. Not really skipping ahead, but I just noticed somebody brought up a show, and I feel like I got to commit seppuku for not mentioning it, because I do think it is actually funnier than Detroit Metal City, and I didn't mention it, and I'll say which show it is when we get to it, but yeah, I think I might have to be...
Oh, I see what you're talking about. So we'll go a little fast here. Then we have Max at Max Vader, who picked Detroit Metal City. And then we have...
Hey, don't skip my man.
All right. I won't take it out on him for his Hunter x Hunter comment. Max at the Max Vader picked Detroit Metal City. And he actually posted a pretty funny picture that we'll put in the show notes as well, of Krauser humping
Tower.
The Tokyo. Oh, that was talking about that was the episode you were talking about.
And that's not even the best part. That's like what happens after that moment right there is the best part.
And then we have Evan O at Demarth Returns, and I'm assuming this is the show you're talking about, Cody?
Yes.
I'll let you say what the show is.
Inferno Cop! Inferno Cop blows my mind in two ways. One, anime's not supposed to be that funny. Because I've always said even the funniest anime isn't as funny as like the funniest Western shows. Japan's just not that funny in general.
What?
Y'all can make a good story, but you fall short on the jokes.
What?
The jokes. Yeah, I mean, even the funniest anime, with the exception of Inferno Cop here, even the funniest anime doesn't hold a card to like the best like Western comedies or anything like that. It ain't even the same ballpark. Except for Detroit Metal City. Detroit Metal City's up there, but you can't sit there and tell me there's any anime with half the comedic just greatness of shows like Arrested Development or The Critic or Titus.
Debatable.
I mean, it just ain't happening. I mean, yeah, you could tell a good joke every now and then, but it's like, sorry, no, you're too restrained of a people to let all the funny out. But this is the exception. Inferno Cop, one of the funniest things. Oh my god, I had to watch each episode multiple times because I missed stuff from laughing so hard. It is one of the fun.
You would think that this isn't the same company that made Kill la Kill.
Yeah, that freaks me. Like, I was excited for Kill la Kill because, like, these are the guys that made Inferno Cop? Okay, wow, that was really good. Maybe it was Gainax holding them back because, these people, like, were responsible for panty and stocking, and that's one of the worst things to ever air on a television. That's just to come out of Japan.
Wait a second. AWBralwer, where do you fall on the fence of Kill la Kill and panty and stocking?
Well, I agree with him. Penny and Stocking, why does that exist? Kill la Kill, I only watched 2 episodes before, and already I'm loving that one.
Man,
Again, I like the stuff that's so unapologetically Japanese and funny. It's just me. It's like it can't even apologize.
And it's unapologetically something. Penny and Stocking, I feel like Japan still needs to be put on war crime trials for that one. Like, I feel like the UN...
War crime tribunal.
Penny and Stocking is crap.
The UN needs to step in after watching Penny and Stocking. Like, I feel like someone needs to be held responsible for that. But after that, I was like, okay, this is the same director who did Penny and Stocking, but this is absolutely hilarious. Okay, maybe it was Gainax. Maybe Gainax is a problem, and now that they're free and they got Studio Trigger now, maybe now they're going to do good stuff. Oh, yeah, Kill la Kill coming. Oh, I'm all excited. Oh, the Studio Trigger. Oh, it's going to be good. Okay, they released the first character designs. Oh, that's the outfit she's going to be fighting in? Okay, well, maybe it's still going to be cool and just have really stupid outfits. I mean, Blaze Blue is amazing, but the women in Blaze Blue are wearing stupid outfits. So, it could be just me from, so let's take a look. Okay, here comes the first episode. Oh, God fucking damn it. You broke my heart, Trigger. You got me all excited. And, like, they're doing Inferno Cop 2. They're doing the second season. And I swear to God, if it's as funny as the first one, I'm going to be really confused. Like, how are you doing this? But still doing this? What are you doing? What's just the real you?
Maybe you just don't get it, Cody.
No, I get it. I get that it's one of the dumbest, worst things to ever air on TV. Like, a Kill la Kill, again. Kill la Kill is made by just a bunch of fucking lonely sons of bitches that can't write a damn story or design a damn character and really need a hooker for a night because they are pent the fuck up.
I would advise you not to read any of my novels because they're random as Kill la Kill.
I like fucking... And then, like, the animation just craps out. Like, they'll spend all their money on a fight scene, but only half of it because then you notice, hey, they all just turn into CG models with cell shading. It looks really weird. And then, all of a sudden, like, they'll just be like a static cutout that's just moving back and forth. It just turns into fucking Bleach level animation.
Oh, wow.
And then just cuts back to decent, and then fucking stupid fucking otaku shit and the stupid plot, and stupid bitch with the rainbows in her hair, and she's supposed to be the villain, and she's dressed like a clown princess, and then stupid sexy plot twist.
All right, we get it.
All right,
You don't like
let me ask you this. I normally don't watch too many of the mainstream animes. I end up picking stuff that nobody heard of by mistake somehow. But I did enjoy Space Dandy. Did you think Space Dandy was funny?
Oh, Space Dandy was great.
Space Dandy was dandy.
Because unlike Kill la Kill, when it was goofy and it had the perverted shit, it gave a context to it. Because this is basically the deciding factor. You won't know whether something is creepy before you step into something. The question is this. Is the character perverted or is the show perverted? Because that's the difference. Because you take something like Desert Punk. Desert Punk had a chick with big tits, but the show wasn't perverted. We weren't in a perverted world where the camera would happen to get a glance at someone's panties, and there'd be a scene where for no reason now they're getting naked because stupid fucking pretense demands it. No, this main character who was, oh, titties, I love titties. He was mocked. Yes. The show presented him as a piece of shit.
Yes.
It wasn't like, oh, this is our lovable protagonist and he gets all weird when titties are around. No, the show said flat out, this guy is a loser. He is a piece of shit. And that, in turn, is what made him entertaining because the show established early on, this is not a guy who you want to be friends with, but you're going to be entertained by his exploits, and he will get his comeuppance on a regular basis. And the difference, like Space Dandy, Kill la Kill, Space Dandy has boobies. Yeah, that is established in universe as a space Hooters, and the main characters are established as pervy douches, and they go to Hooters because they are perverts and like to ogle the women. There is no like, oh, the super armors that you need to wear just happen to look like this, and you can only unlock your power by being shameless and slutty, and we're gonna hold on this long extended sequence where the clothes snatch up on them so their boobs bounce and they get a camel toe, and let's hold an extended frame on their crotch. No, it's these guys are going to Hooters, and sometimes we see things through their vision in order to get a laugh at their expense. There's a big difference because I've seen people try to pull that, like, oh, what about Space Dandy?
Okay. You just explained strike witches. You just described strike witches perfectly, where they have stupid little panties on and rockets on their feet. Strike witches is just fan service for no reason.
Yeah, and then like in Space Dandy, they will mock fan service. Like they had that space race episode where they made fun of that one race in Star Wars with the two tentacles, where all the women's are like super fucking shapely and everything. So like she was ridiculous, and every she was constantly doing super sexy poses in a ridiculous outfit, and her spaceship racer looked like a giant stiletto heel. It was mocking fan service. Or like the woman, the boob monster that like took the form of this woman that was an obvious anime fan service girl to the point, and I love this, her skirt was so short it was a belt. Like it didn't even hang down. And then like she had a thong and her pants didn't go up over her ass either. So her pants were too short, her skirt was too short, she was wearing a thong, she had a boob, like a corset that was made to let her boobs hang out. She was an obvious shot at anime fangirls, and then she turns into a giant boob monster. Like, it would mock fan service. It would make fun of what Kill la Kill does. And yet there are people that try to equate the two, and those are the kind of people I like to call idiots.
I mean, I would never equate the two because I normally don't care much for fan service. Like, again, I think Sean remember me calling out One Piece on some fan service. I said I like young Nami when she was normal. Now she looks like a slut.
Hey, well, to be fair, young Nami may have worn more, but she took it off more frequently.
Yeah.
Older Nami may not wear a shirt, but at least she keeps that bikini on.
Because she has to for support.
Yeah, I mean, I like One Piece, but it's got its flaws, and one of those flaws is Nami. I will say that flat out. But I mean, it's just, if you ever want to know the distinction, people, because I know there's a lot of people, especially Kill la Kill fanboys, that they got to have their flimsy defenses. You ever want to know especially you ever want to try to pull that argument when I'm fucking bashing your favorite show and like, well, what about this other show you say you like? The difference is the character perverted or is the show perverted? A little word of wisdom to end this little tangent on. You take it to heart.
And the next one we have is Clef Ugly. Clef Ugly. That one doujinshi where Vegeta fists a chimpanzee.
That Clefugly is Bongloria, who has been on the other side a couple of times. He's one of a kind. He's a bizarre man, and what the contents of his brain would terrify your average man. I'm almost positive that doujinshi does not exist anywhere but in the dark recesses of his twisted mind.
Next we have Vega at Vega. I believe that's Vega, the older girl.
Mm-hmm.
One more vote for Inferno Cop.
Of course.
The Savior King at Blue Beast Guy. Crayon Shin-chan.
I the dub. The original version doesn't really translate well unless you're like super familiar with Japanese culture. And even that, I can't imagine it being terribly laugh out loud funny. Like, oh, he says the wrong phrase when you enter a house. Bah! But the dub did a good job. I mean, the dub's pretty raunchy, but it's not bad raunchy. And it pretty much is playing totally fast and loose because there's no way Shin-chan would work here. So they make it work as much as it can, and they change what needs to be changed. And they make it work. It's funny as hell.
I think one of the best parts of the dub for Shin-chan was the Inchman episode. Where all the kids popped up. There was a woman who popped up in a pink outfit. I'm like, her name better not be what I think it is. And she tried to say her name was the Pink Pussy, but they blurred it. I'm like, I'm the pink, and they just blurred it. And Inchman is like, oh yeah, the censors are gonna have fun with that one. That would have me laughing.
Best part of that episode for me was the transitions. Every time that little like symbol would kind of do the Batman thing at the screen and then pull back for a scene transition, you have an echoing Chris Sabat voice say some random shit that was vaguely connected to what you just saw. So at one point, the two girls were just saying some weird, suggestive stuff to each other, and then the scene transition comes and goes, lesbians! He's eating a rice. Like everything that he was in contact with would be like an alarm to tell him there was danger. Like he's eating a rice ball, and the tomato inside starts beeping. Like, it's the rice ball tomato alarm! And then it does the scene transition. Tomatoes are fruits! Cracking up at the time Chris Sabat yelled something at me.
Too bad it didn't last too long on Cartoon Network.
Well, they're still putting out DVDs. You can go get them.
DV what? Next we have
real quick. There's another one. I don't know if anyone's going to mention it here, so I feel like I got to mention it real quick because I was just reminding Chris Sabat because there was another funny Chris Sabat moment in this show, the Hitalia dub. Not regular Hitalia, because I've said this a million times before. Regular Hitalia is terrible. Funimation's dub of Hitalia was really fucking funny. And fucking kudos to Funimation for taking a terrible, terrible show that even advocated Holocaust denial. Not even kidding. There is a scene, all you Hitalia fangirls worrying about shit. Ooh, which is the prettiest boy in the ship? That show actively denies the Holocaust. I'm not even joking. Look it up on YouTube. And then Funimation takes this terrible show and makes it laugh out loud fucking funny. That fucking, that song, because you hear Chris Sabat doing the In Heaven and in Hell, these people do this job song. You'll know what I'm talking about if you see it.
So you're telling me that Funimation did the opposite of what 4Kids does to good anime?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because like Italia, you would think, okay, you have these characters that are personifications of each country. You would then use them to parody the countries. Hitalia doesn't do that. It's just, they're each country. Now let's have them be gay. No. They take these characters that are based on countries, they give them the funny voices, and then they have them say things that are funny stereotypes of each country. And everybody gets a turn, in case anybody's worried, oh no, stereotypes, and that's not sensitive. Everybody gets a turn. Every time they do a Nazi joke with Germany, I laugh out loud because they're all fucking funny. And they do keep some of the stupid shit from Hitalia because they have to, including the fucking Holocaust denial scene. I really wish they would have changed that. That's the one point they dropped the ball. They didn't fucking change that to something else. But that's a skeevy scene. Again, people look it up. This is it's like, what are you doing? But and the fucking pasta. I hate that shit. Pasta. It's not funny. Just to have him say pasta without any like provocation.
See, it's funny because it doesn't make sense.
See, it's not funny because I don't shop at Hot Topic. Like,
ouch, man! You just stabbed me in the chest there.
Like I don't like this. It's not like that. They kept. They could have gone without that. But in general, Funimation deserves like 20 high class, expensive hookers for taking Hitalia, one of the worst things anime ever did to us, and making it laugh out loud fucking funny. Kudos and a salute to you, good sir. I want to get that. Nope. It's got to. That song also sucks, but you can skip it on the DVDs with a simple press of a button.
Next we have Jack TWD 4th at Jack TWD 4th. School Rumble was zany. So I think somebody agrees with you there, AW.
Imadori, Hanai, and Harima makes their show what it is. And I think people don't realize that the show was actually more about Harima than it was about Timma. Like, Timma wasn't even in some episodes.
I have no idea who either of those people are, but I'm assuming that you are right. Sarah F. at Defhime. Gintama with both Daily Lives of High School Boys and Excel Saga in a very tight race for second, all of which we spoke about. Akari Sensei at Emperor Akari, Gintama, Nichijou, and Cromartie High School finally on the list.
High five.
Sorry?
I said high five. Who's that guy?
That guy is awesome. Akari. He needs a T. It needs to be Atari.
I'm a little disappointed that so few people have brought up Cromartie High School.
It's probably a show that's fell off the radar. Not that people haven't watched it, but...
If you haven't watched it or if it fell off your radar, either go watch it or fall back in love with it because it is one of the funniest anime ever made.
I'm a bit surprised that, when you said high school, I'm a bit surprised that with all these funny animes, no one mentioned Orin High School Host Club.
Well, because that's only funny half the time.
Well, yeah.
Because I did a thing on this show before, and it's been brought up on my show, my podcast before. Orin High School Host Club, like half the episodes are great and hilarious, and half the episodes are really terrible. And someone needs to come up with like a comprehensive list of which episodes to watch and which to avoid, because when it's bad, it's bad. But when it's funny, it's funny. But then it'll make fun of melodramatic shoujo, but then turn into melodramatic shoujo. And I'm like, bitch, you can't do that. You can't
make fun of the thing that you're actually doing.
You can't become that which you lambast. Then you're a hypocrite. Like, you watch the fucking, oh my god, the one with where the little kid Honey had a fucking cavity, and
Honey Ozuka.
Yeah, and that the tall guy that was like his keeper with the really deep voice. I love it. He was getting super dramatic about it. It's like, it's just my fault. I let him eat too much sweets. And he's like on one knee and there's flower petals floating by and it's all super dramatic over the fact that he let him eat too much candy and got a cavity. That was fucking hilarious. But then that fucking, when they do the flashback of how Shinra dude and the main character became friends and it's super dramatic and one flips over a table and makes a righteous speech. And I'm like, this ain't the same damn show. What are you doing? No. You can't do that. When you were doing that, you stop it. Stop it on High School Host Club. Stop. And then it has no payoff. The couple never gets together in the TV show.
I just like them when they're being goofy, like the whole dark puppet bells in their
Exactly. Oh my god, I love that son of a bitch.
The dark puppet bells in them?
Yeah, Nekazawa, Billsniff, the cursed doll. I love that son of a bitch. He just shows up at one point in a coffin. You don't even know how the coffin got there. No one, he just leaves in the coffin. He's just, and that whole episode that was focused on him was the best one, where it was he had the little sister, and then it turned out he was prettier than all the hosts, but he wears a wig and a robe because he has to be dark and evil. And they're trying to get him to be the fucking prince in her storybooks. And then it gets like super dramatic because like she's walking down and a fat cat just shows up and stares at her and is like, oh no, she's deathly afraid of cats, and he jumps at the fucking window and like the super dramatic roll to grab her and get her out of there, and then like, the fat cat's just standing there like all this the dramatic music dies down of fat cat's just standing there and just meow and walks away.
No, when they turn the flashlight on him, instead of running directly out the door, he zigzagged through every column, turned the circle around the room, then finally headed to the door.
I love that son bitch. That dude's funny. Whenever he showed up, it was like the best shit. I love that son bitch. But yeah, that show. So again, someone needs to make a comprehensive list of the episodes of that show you should actually watch. Because it's jarring. Like, oh, this episode's really good. I can't wait till the next one. You watch the next one. Oh my god, the twins flashback. Fuck that episode with the twins backstory. Oh my god, that was the worst thing.
Are they gay? I mean, they're like borderline yaoi moments with them. What the heck?
That was the point. That was the joke. They were making fun of that because they were supposed to be doing that in order to get all the girls at the host club like enticed. Like they were doing that on purpose. Like that was an act, and that would then in like out of universe that was a parody of yaoi and incest and shit, like that some shoujos will do, like the forbidden love. They were making fun of that, but then they did their flashback episode. They were all being super dramatic, and then the whole like it's like we want people to be able to tell us apart, but we're not going to dress differently because we want them to just figure it out, and then we're going to get really upset when no one can tell us apart, and then we're going to get really emo about that, and then we're just going to kind of brood and hate. And it's the stupid monologues, and oh my god, I was just so mad at that episode. It was so bad. I threw a plush doll at my TV, my computer screen. I was like, fucking shit. It was that was triggering. It's trigger warning. Twins flashback. That's bad.
And the final one is Gintama, and that's from At Abyss 1992. So that was our list of funny anime. We included a few, and hopefully you can check out a few of those and laugh your butt off, and then hopefully
butt replaced, and then watch another one and lose your new butt, and then have to go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Damn it, you do it again." I'm like, "I'm sorry, there's just more stuff out there." And I'm like, "Damn it." And then by the time you're done with all these, you'll be on like your third or fourth butt, and your doctor will be sick of seeing you.
Yeah, your doctor will say, you're an ass. Because we're talking about butts. Okay, so now it's time for my favorite part of the show. It's time for news! Get the news and everything about news and explosions
News.
All right. So, news. Last week on our news, we talked about Doraemon. And I think it was part of the manga that parents want their kids to read. And we're talking about how I mistakenly said it was a series that the creator didn't want. And that was actually Saze-san. And someone in our comment section corrected me, and they were 100% right as soon as they said it. But we're talking about how Doraemon, I said it wrong last week. Is it Doraemon, right?
Yeah, I always call it Doraemon. JD's not here, mispronounce
right.
away.
When there's an A and an E like that in Japanese, it usually makes an I sound for some reason.
All right, so Doraemon is coming to the U.S.
Book it long enough.
Please don't let 4 kids get it.
Is 4 kids even around?
No, they're dead.
They died. They got shot in the face.
Yeah, One Piece. They fucked up One Piece and that killed them.
So
remember when the earthquake thing happened, they got some more shows, and then they died again after that.
No, because what happened was they fucked around with One Piece so much because Toei gave them One Piece thinking, oh, these guys make money because, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, no one paid attention to actually what 4 Kids was doing. They just, they made money. So, One Piece, we'll give it to them, and then 4 Kids think, hey, kids like pirates, so we'll take this show, and they didn't know what's in it. So they, censored it all to hell and back, and they gave this horrendous dub, and then no one watched it because it's so bad. Even One Piece fans that didn't know what was changed were like, this is bad. And so Toei was like, wait, what the fuck? One Piece should be doing great over there. Naruto did big. Naruto hit it big, DBZ hit it big. This is One Piece is like the biggest thing in Japan, and it's very Western friendly. This should be huge over there. What the fuck? And they went over and they looked at what 4Kids did, like, you motherfuckers, what did you do to One Piece? And they literally took it away. Like, I don't think that's ever happened in anime history where they just saw what a company had done with their English dub, and they're like, no, bad, and they yanked the license.
They set One Piece behind like 10 years.
They really did, and they just flat out took the license and said, you can't have this anymore. You failed on so many levels, and then Funimation snatched it up and said, hey, we'll fix it. But like after,
Kids is dead. Who the heck has Beyblade?
I think Bang Zoom dubs it. It's kind of like.
Probably looks like a syndicated title, like how Dragon Ball used to be.
Yeah, it's in a weird, like, some of these titles are in a weird place. Like Pokemon, Nintendo took that back. Nintendo's like, no, we'll do it. We got like all the money in the world. We'll just have our own recording studio do it. And Nintendo just took that back and handled it.
Which surprisingly, 4Kids did better because Mewtwo with a girl voice was just wrong.
They gave Mewtwo a girl voice?
Yeah, on the Genesect movie, he sounds like a woman instead of Yugi.
That's weird. But I mean, I don't fucking care about the Pokemon anime anyway. If you want Pokemon stories, go read Pokemon Adventures or Pokemon Special, whichever one you want to call it. That one's great.
And if you wanna actually watch Doraemon, which was the actual topic of this conversation, it's gonna be coming on Disney XD eventually. So Disney XD has the broadcast rights for the
Disney XD is still around.
Yeah, they have. They're the one that they have Kai. Yeah. They're the ones actually airing Kai on television.
I thought they had Disney XD for a while, but then like that kind of evolved into other shit when like they took over, like Disney XD took over all of Toon Disney, which by the way, R.I.P. Toon Disney. Let me pour out a little bit for my dead homie. They play my old childhood favorites, people. But like then Disney XD came in, and then they basically took over the whole network, and the whole network became Disney XD. And I thought they turned into something that they dropped the Disney XD name. I didn't know it was still around.
Well, apparently it's still around, and they're upping their efforts with anime. I know they were a place to go to for a lot of shows that are out there. A lot of Marvel shows too that were out there. So
I'm an old man. I don't know what those kids are up to these days.
I just remember them as having Digimon Data Squad. Was that them, or was it Jetix?
I think that was Jetix.
Oh, yeah. Still was Disney though.
Yeah, pretty much all their tween, their little. We have Spider-Man, Avengers, Assemble. They have some Dragon Ball stuff there, and a couple of other shows. So it's good that they're going to be putting more anime back on there. Mm-hmm. So that's a thing. I'm looking through their website and seeing what else they have. They don't have a lot. But anywho, that's them. Doraemon. Now the next thing is most popular manga of all time, and this is based off what people think and how they feel. No, this is actually based off of sales. And we're gonna go through the list. And
I'm bracing now. I have not read this, but I'm bracing for depression.
It doesn't look too bad. 20th place, and actually tied for 20th, 19th place, we have Sangokushi, and Rurouni Kenshin.
Kenshin's all the way at 20?
Well, that's I guess people, this is of all time, so okay. I guess. Okay. And this is all based off of sales, not based on publication numbers. So, that first one is Mitsuteru Yokoyama's retelling of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And, of course, Nobuhiro Watsuki's tale of a reformed assassin. They tie for the last spot on the list with 70 million copies.
Sangokushi and Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah. Next, we have, at 18, we have Bleach. And, of course, this is the Chronicles of Soul Reaper Ichiko Kurosaki. And it adds up to 74.6 million copies.
And we have next, Jameer Durham is going to be happy about this one.
Hajime no Ippo. And that's George Morikawa's story about a high school boxer rising to fame. Has been going strong since 1989 with 75,500,000 copies to date. And by the way, this is from Rocket News 24. So Rocket News 24 is the website. Of course, we'll have a link to it in our show notes. Have to give them a shout because I'm reading verbatim off their website. Captain Tsubasa is a soccer
That
anime.
is some kind of art.
It looks like it came from 1975. Another sports-themed series, Captain Tsubasa, follows the exploits of a youth soccer team. It's one of Shonen Jump's most popular series ever at 80 million copies. So what do I know? Is that a guy or a girl?
That is an excellent question.
If I knew the website, I could tell you because I'm pretty good.
It's in the show notes. Click on the title. It looks like a girl only because of the thigh. If that makes sense. Anywho. While you're doing your investigation, I'll go to 15. And if we mentioned it in the show, Saze-san. And it's about the lovable housewife Saze-san. First debuted in 1946 and has been around long enough to have gone from a symbol of leftist feminism to a symbol of nostalgia for traditional society. And it racks up to 86 million copies.
It's not every day you see something from Japan basically look like one of our newspaper comics. Like have that same look to it.
Yeah, it looks like Curtis.
Yeah. I haven't even thought of Curtis in years. Holy shit.
Number 14, Kindaichi Case Files. Kindaichi Case Files.
I haven't even heard of that.
This is like the precursor to Conan.
One of the earliest works of the mystery manga genre.
Yeah, one of the earliest work of the mystery manga genre. This series about a crime-solving high school kid has printed 90 million copies. Damn. And that's only 14 people. 13, 12, 11, and 10. Fist of the North Star, Touch, Astro Boy, and Doraemon. Wow. A post-apocalyptic psychic warrior, baseball-playing twins, a gifted robot boy, and a time-traveling robot cat share a slot at 100 million copies each. Wow. Number 9, Slam Dunk. Taihiko Ino series about a high school basketball team. Anyone sensing a pattern here? Okay, that was a little aside from the writer. It's credited with the rising popularity of basketball in Japan. No wonder with 119 million copies out. No wonder with 119 million copies out there. Yeah, a lot of sports-themed anime on this list.
Yeah, like I still never saw that. Like, well, I used to go into the bookstores and see it, and I would always pick it up and never read it. And I'm like, maybe I should just give Slam Dunk a try to see what it's all about.
I started reading it, like a couple of chapters. I thought it was an interesting premise as far as sports manga, because from what I read, he got into the basketball team just to impress a girl, where it's always the opposite, where they're like trying to be on the basketball team or whatever, fill in the blank team because they want to be the best that's ever was for that sport. So that was pretty cool.
Kuroki's basketball, the anime, man, I feel like it's better than it anyway.
Oh, I love Kuroko's basketball. Oishinobu.
JD Banks is having an aneurysm right now.
Oh, man. Who would have thought a comic about a guy that likes to eat would rack up 130 million copies? And that's coming from the website. Number 7, Naruto.
What?
Naruto. Everybody's favorite fox face ninja has published 135 million copies. Believe it. All right. Number 6, Detective Conan / Case
Here we go.
Closed. Oh, wow. Number 6. Lord have mercy.
It beat out Naruto, so I'm happy. Yes.
Gosho
One true
Aoyama
fan.
series about a detective undeterred by his transformation to a child has published an impressive 140 million copies. Lord have mercy. There's not even 140 million people in Well, yes, there is. Koshira Katsushika.
Kochikame.
Yeah, there you go. Kochikame. You saved me from some embarrassing.
I think it translates to "We are the police officers at the street name here."
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I used to.
Despite its way longer than average name, this comedy cop series has garnered fans to the tune of 155.3 million copies published.
You know, that's like a Japanese class. That's like a staple of Japanese society almost. That's
It looks like a staple of Japanese.
That's like fucking Japanese Simpsons or some shit.
It looks like the Japanese.
It's it's like from what I understand, it's like the daily lives of, like, you know, they have those little stations where cops are in Japan, like almost like
Those
a cop
little-
booth.
Yeah, the little photo booth looking things.
Yeah, and like it's basically the lives of a group of cops that work at one of those.
Okay. Number 4, Dragon Ball.
Of course.
Even non-manga fans will know this one, unless they've been living under a rock for the last 30 years.
There's like 5 accents.
Goku has 157 million printed copies. Yes, Goku. The story of Goku, who dies more times than a joke by someone who cannot tell comedy.
You just sound like Devilman there for a second.
Hey, wish I knew how Devilman sounded. Blackjack at number 3.
He's from Dragon Ball.
Who?
Devilman.
I thought you said Demo Man, like Team
No,
Fortress 2.
Devilman.
Oh.
Devilman. I thought Devilman was Gonagai character.
No. There was a guy. There was like a Dracula demon-looking dude.
Oh, from the original Dragon Ball.
Yeah, named Devilman, and in the dub they gave him the blah voice.
Blah, I'm from Transylvania. Blah,
Yeah.
look at me. I want to suck your blood. Blah.
Yeah.
Blackjack, number 3. Another entry by the great Osamu Tezuka, which was recently revealed by Cody Baier, is a closet furry.
And transformation fetishes.
This series follows the title character's adventures, righting medical wrongs and teaching jerks a lesson.
They can't
See
jerk
what I did
lessons.
there? He's teaching jerk lessons. Because
Yes,
a
that
perv.
sounds like something that Jergens Lotions would be interested in.
It's funny because we found out he's a perv.
A whopping 176 million copies have been printed and have been collected in expensive as hell manga books from Vertical Ink. Like $100 for whatever they charge for that crap. Number 2, Gogo 13.
Hell yeah.
The venerable manga series about a professional assassin has been in continuous publication since 1968, racking up 200 million copies. Wow. And then I'm sure
Logo 13 is huge and it deserves to be. It's great.
I have yet to see it. I have to check
There
it
are
out.
a couple movies I would recommend. Gogo 13 is basically James Bond on the other side of the law. That's
Oh,
the best
man.
way to describe it. If James Bond, instead of being a secret agent, were an assassin. And there's that running thing where he'll calculate how he's going to kill somebody, like wind trajectory, going at this and this angle and this thing, and like chance of failure 0%, and all that stuff. It's pretty badass. It is a man's show, so there's probably people like, oh, it's sexist. It depicts women as but again, it's evil James Bond pretty much.
You know what it is? It's one of those series that coming up in this fandom that I've kind of grown to detest, because all the people that seem really uppity about anime always rave about it, and just by proxy makes me not want to watch it. So they're always talking about, oh, Gogo 13, and that's how I feel about it. And that and Macross, it's those two series, like, it's almost like bug repellent. It doesn't matter how good it might be.
Jackass anime fans like it, so it makes you want to avoid it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, no,
And,
it's legit.
Alrighty, I'll check it out. And finally, blowing the competition out of the water at an astounding 300 million copies, the most popular manga of all time is
Makes me happy to see it's One Piece.
Heck yeah.
One Piece.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
there is a series that deserves every single drop of its popularity, not even just from the quality of the series, but like just the effort and love that the author puts into it, because Ichiro Oda loves making this thing. He loves his fans. He's a good-ass dude. Like, everything about One Piece makes me happy that it's successful. I want that man to be a millionaire with a golden jet, and I want One Piece to keep going until he decides to end it, because he knows best. He knows when to end it.
I hope he has like a secret stash of chapters that kind of wrap it up.
Well, he says he already knows how it's going to end.
I mean, that's good that he knows how it ends, but I hope he has like a blueprint just in case he dies.
Right.
Yeah, so do I.
I didn't want to word it that way, but you know.
Hey, you gotta just put it out there. I don't want it to become a Gwen saga.
There are 2 series I am legit surprised are not on this list. Like I said, this is mostly due to publication, so maybe that has something to do with this, like just for some technicality or whatever. But there are 2 series, because of how big they are, that I am surprised are not on this list. Berserk and JoJo.
Bizarre Circus?
Yeah, Bizarre Adventure.
Oh.
Like, Berserk, that's like one of the biggest seinen. I think it's just in terms, like, forgetting publication numbers, like, of the, because this is like Tankobon prints. Like, in general, Berserk is arguably the biggest seinen, like, of all time. Like, Go-Go's up there with it, but, I mean, Berserk's pretty much ruling the roost. I would think it would be up on this list. And JoJo, not only has been around for so long, but it's one of the biggest and most influential shonen of all time. I mean, you could trace back to so many different shonen mangas running now, and you could trace back, and even video games, and you could trace back to so many things that were just inspired by or even lifted from JoJo. Just virtually every prominent fighting game series right now has at least one JoJo reference. If a shonen manga is not pulling from Dragon Ball, then it's pulling from JoJo. And maybe the different, because JoJo's different parts, and each part's like a different story. Maybe each part is counted as a separate entity, like a different series. Maybe that's the only way I can think that it's not on this list. But yeah, those 2, the absence of those 2 definitely surprised me. I mean, I can see how some of these other ones, I know some of these other ones are fucking huge and been around forever, and I'm sure the age of some of these are also propping up their numbers. Like, Go-Go 13, I know is huge, but I don't think would be where it is on the list if it weren't for the fact that it's been going on for as long as it has, and in that run has printed so many copies.
And then you have things like Shaze-san that have been around since like the 40s and stuff.
And you got Detective Conan that's only over Naruto because it has a bajillion chapters.
Yeah, so maybe that's, but again, JoJo's also been around for a long time. Like, I think it's only a little younger than Fist of the North Star, which I'm surprised wasn't higher.
And maybe it's just not as popular as you think it is.
But it is, like, you saw that video where they had the fucking, that big thing where they had all the people from that Japanese company come out and fucking get in front. Like,
doesn't mean it's more popular than Hajime no Ippo.
I mean, I would think probably, I mean, it has been, I don't know if it's how long it's been around versus Hajime no Ippo, but I mean, you could just look at everything that it's influenced. Hajime no Ippo, you don't see, like...
But you have to also think that you got to look at total audience. Not everybody wants to see a shonen fighting series. You know, you might have more people across the board that might want to see a boxing series or a soccer series.
Well, that's
or
true.
Something about a mom dealing with her kids, you know.
That's true.
One Piece is technically a shonen fighting series, and look where it is.
In fact,
but that's One Piece. Even Cody will admit that One Piece is a beast by itself.
Yeah, no, it really is. But like, you look at some of the stuff on the top of this list, and it goes at the very bottom and very top of this list are shonen fighting series, and they're sandwiched by other stuff, for the most part. So I was legitimately surprised, considering A, how long it's going on, B, how influential it is, and C, how big it is.
And another thing too that might have an impact on JoJo not being on this list is the more recently the anime series have come out. While you have things like Bleach, you know, you're at 100+ episodes, and Naruto have 100+ episodes to help make it more, you know, visible.
I also wonder how much international sales are factoring into this, because I don't think it says here whether it's just Japan or it's also factoring internationally, because a lot of these series that are on this list have made it internationally, and the ones that aren't are the ones that have been going on since like the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So
One Piece is at 300 million in just Japan. that is freaking awesome. I hope that's worldwide.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe worldwide sales also have, because as big as JoJo is in Japan, it's never really had a good release here. It never really caught on here. It was just kind of, it never really had a big release. It just kind of slid. Like they dubbed the OVA, but it was a shitty dub, and they just put it out without announcement. They brought over the manga, but they changed a bunch of goofy stuff, and they didn't really advertise it or anything, and then they just kind of threw it out there, and they just started at part 3, and they just kind of just threw it out there unceremoniously. So it never really caught on here until recently with this new anime.
And
so
it's funny, like the first comment on there is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, like I am legit surprised. Like Berserk, I'm a little surprised because I know Berserk is fucking huge. I mean, it's often called Japanese Star Wars, but like I'm surprised it's not on there.
And give a shout to JD, who is actually, she's on the page as one of the people who voted for this, so she's aware of this list. So you were thinking about your JD on this list.
Yeah, I'm legit just surprised at the omission of Berserk and JoJo. I'm wondering what factored into this.
So the final bit of news that we have is actually fairly recent from the time of this recording. A voice actor got arrested in Texas, and his name is Ilich Gorodiola. I'm sure I butchered it, but
I don't think that's a voice actor anyone's really familiar with.
Well, they are going to be familiar with him because he just got arrested for the alleged sexual assault of a child.
Oh, fuck you, buddy.
And
who did he voice?
He's actually going to be voicing Kino Inusaka in the English dub of Haikingen, 8 Dogs of the East.
Oh, there you go. Everybody's looking forward to that.
And he voiced a couple of other characters as well. He's actually voiced a character. I don't know. He's not like a super well-known person, but he's work for Sentai and a couple of other places.
Yeah, he's
Penguin Drum. He's done a voice in that.
Apparently, that's a main character.
Sorry?
Apparently, he voices a main character in that.
Kanba
Takakura.
Yeah. But pretty much the story is he got married to one of his 16-year-old students, and with that student's mom present for the wedding, and he got pulled over for a traffic violation, and then when I guess something looked suspicious, an officer questioned the girl, and she admitted to the officer that she was having a sexual relationship with him. And he's, in addition to voice acting, which I'm assuming he's doing part-time, he's a 41-year-old drama teacher. And he does this at several schools. So they're kind of, they're doing an investigation to see if, he has had relations with other students at this school. So, and one of the reasons that, you would say, okay, he got married, and I believe from what I've been reading that the age of consent, at least with a parent present, as far as marriage and stuff like that, is 16. And
still creepy, though. He's still a creeper.
No, but I mean, creepy.
I'm not trying to condone, dude, but if he's married.
But here's the thing, and I don't know, take this with a grain of salt because it was in a comment section on Anime News Network. Someone said that even if you are legally married to a person, given the age of consent, it is illegal for a teacher to engage in a sexual relationship with a student that attends the school where they teach. And this was a law that took effect on September 1st, 2003. Once again,
I don't think it's illegal, but I think you can get fired. I don't think there's anywhere that has a law against.
No, according to this link, the TotalCriminalDefense.com, where talks about whatever. And once again, take it with a grain of salt. I'll read the excerpt that I pulled. On September 1st, 2003, a law took effect in Texas, making it a felony offense for an educator to engage in a sexual relationship with a student who attends the school where they teach, regardless of the student's age or gender. In Texas, the legal age of consent for sexual activity is 17, but under the law, teacher-student relationships in which the students were 17 and 18 years old have been criminalized.
Well, that's weird. I did not know that. Texas has a weird law. That's weird.
So, I mean, it's actually not weird because that's an imbalance of power.
Well, no, but I can see getting fired for that. But making an actual crime is weird.
No, that's the ultimate deterrent.
I mean,
Well,
does that
that's
apply to
okay.
college?
Apparently not.
People are always like nailing their college professor, so I guess it doesn't apply to colleges.
Just wait till the kid is graduate.
Here's the question, though. Will they redub his parts?
It's Sentai, so I don't know.
They probably will. They probably don't want to have that type of stigma associated with it.
I think no matter what they do, that stigma is always going to be there. Like, oh, that's the guy they redubbed. They had redubbed that part with that guy who sexually assaulted that child.
You just know there's going to be a lot of internet jokes about him. Every time they mention him, they just throw up that little stupid pedo bear picture. It's going to be all over the internet.
And apparently he voiced a character that does a similar situation. Like, I actually have, I forget what show it was from, but I'll post the link in here and you can check it out. That's one of the characters that he voiced, so it's kind of ironic that that he did that. Oh, actually, I put it in just Cody's. There you go, so you both can get it.
Oh yeah, fucking shit.
So that's kind of
I think they should recast and redub his stuff, because that, you know, they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. Yes, there is, and that's part of it. It's not.
But then again, you have a lot of people. I'm just reading through the comments section of their of Anime News Network's forums. There's a lot of people coming to the defense of this guy.
Well, that's the problem right there. It's Anime News Network's forums. I mean, it's not exactly the internet's bastion of intelligence. It's Anime News Network. So I wouldn't put too much stock in what's said over there. But this is pretty skeevy. I'd recast him because, you know, it's not as bad as if he raped a kid, which I was initially thinking when I heard, you know, on charges of sexual assault of a minor, which they need to come up with different terms for different situations, because there's a difference between, like, raping a 4-year-old and sleeping with a 16-year-old on the side. You know what I mean? There's a difference. That's why there's two terms, pedophilia and ephebophilia. They need some distinctions. But it's not as skeevy as it could be, but it's still pretty gross and fucked up.
Right, but if you go to jail, I mean, first of all, you go to jail, they're going to latch onto you and kill those type of people like that. But I think it's a little softer blow. It's like, oh, he messed with a kid. He's like, oh, here, what did he do? He screwed a team. Oh, you can go.
Yeah.
You know, just let him go.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, that's pretty much my reaction is, like, it's gross, not as bad, it's not as evil as I was expecting, but it's not evil, it's just creepy. That's the easy. It's not evil, it's just creepy. And he even looks, like, you just look and he's like, yeah, like, you know, like that picture is not doing him any favors. Like,
He needs another headshot.
He looks like he'd be going, that's what I love about high school girls. I keep getting older, they stay the same age.
All right.
Yeah.
No Kevin Hart references, please.
Well, that's actually
Matthew
from
McConaughey. It's a movie.
McConaughey. He got it first.
Kevin was referencing that.
Yeah, so that's a thing. And I just want to close that off on that note, because it's very rare that we get voice actors doing crazy things. Well, it's been probably like 3 years.
Well, supposedly some of them do stuff. It's just not reported on. Like, this is, again, take this with a bit of a grain of salt. This was from an ANN article, but the guy was
Blood
sort of
pressure
keeping...
be high as hell. You keep giving me this grain of salt.
Like this, Sony levels through the roof. But like this, he did kind of keep the name secret, which I guess lends a little credency to it. But again, it's a guy from ANN, and they tend to be crusadery. So this might have just been innocuous, but the guy was getting up in arms. So again, keep the perspective there.
I just throw allegedly in there because I heard that protects you.
Yeah, it could have been like, I'll explain where I'm coming from when I say that. Like, supposedly some of them can be dicks, but one in particular had sex with a female fan who was cosplaying as a character they played. Like, and they said just like you could think about all the implications there. Like, some of them will take advantage of like maybe they had a female fan base because of a character. They'll use it to get laid, which isn't like who among us wouldn't? On the one hand, on the other hand, that is kind of creepy, especially with how young anime fans can be. Like, you gotta wonder, like, how many of those instances could have gotten them arrested if someone said.
Are you telling me that if you voiced the character and some girl dressed up as the character you voiced and she looked pretty nice, you single and she was of age and she wanted to, you would do it?
Well, but you gotta wonder, was she of age?
You're gonna have to show me some ID.
Yeah, like there's a line. I don't know if you all ever heard of Random, aka Mega Ran. He's an underground rapper that does a lot of geeky stuff. He's including he had an album Forever Famicom. One of my favorite rap albums was basically about growing up in that generation. It was all sampling different NES games and Super NES games. And he had a song called Contact, which is about visiting cons. Like that, like it was sort of a if you've never been to a convention, you should go, and here's some things to know. Hey, I rhymed right there. See, I'm talking about a rap album, and I'm accidentally rapping. And he had this line where he was saying, like, Comic-Cons are not the best place to find dates. And what does he say? Like, you better check that badge before you start romancing. Otherwise, you're going to be chilling with Chris Hansen. So, yeah. But again, this was relayed by someone at ANN, and they can be kind of crusadery, and they take stands. So it could have been just something like, just like a hot chick comes up to you. Oh, I'm a big fan. You know, is there anything I can do? It's like, yeah, something you can do. And then they're like, oh my god, there's so many implications. I mean, you played that character. It's like you're fucking yourself. Like, no, dude, I'm pretty sure she'll probably take the costume off.
No. Leave it on.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God, I'm so talented. And then there were a couple other instances that I can't even remember the other ones because I pretty much brushed them off. But supposedly, according to some, there are some voice actors that do engage in improper behavior that some of us would succumb to. So I think it's important for us to realize that, and I think there's a lot of fans that need to hear this, those voice actors are not our geek gods. Like, I know
but if not them, who?
Nobody, just like shit.
I understand they're human like us, but for the most part, I just assume that most voice actors would just had the straight hikikomori type of lifestyle where they're inside all the time, and when they do come outside, they're recording a voice. Then they're back to being inside the hikikomori lifestyle.
First of all, some of y'all got to remember they're actors. They're not part of your world. They haven't theorized about the characters they play as much as you have. And for the love of God, and this is a public service announcement from the bottom of my heart, leave Vic Mignogna alone. You know, I know the guy loves he's very close to his fans. He's a very decent dude. I have like endless amounts of respect and admiration for Vic Mignogna. But his fangirl's a little creepy. They've even creeped him out on occasion. And then they got, like, some of them got up in arms and called him a bigot because he says he doesn't like yaoi because he says it's like an insult to the original creator. Like, the creator didn't intend these characters to be gay. So when you go gay them up, it's like you're, for lack of a better term, perverting the original intent of the author. Which I see where he's coming from. But then, like, how dare you attack yaoi, you son of a bitch. And, you know, weird, like, goofy spike. Because it's primarily girls doing this. You know how girls can get when they get pissed. They get petty. They'll start spreading rumors. They start getting crazy and weird. So, like, And then, like, you got people asking Vic to say lines from their weird, creepy fan fictions, and they just get really, like, I don't think they know that he has a woman. Like, maybe, like, you're like 16, lady, you're not going to get with him. He's in his 40s. He's not interested. Calm down. So, as a public service announcement, now that we have learned that these voice actors are people, they're not gods, they make mistakes, and they're not going to, they're not going to be your friends. They're just guys. And please give Vic Mignogna some space. I worry. I worry for him sometimes. I'm worried he's going to get, like, used panties in the mail.
Herpes.
It's just
UPS.
It just says, it's like written in crayon, and the eyes are dotted with hearts, and it just says, "I love you, Vic," 20 times. Like the all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy scene. Like, I'm worried that's going to happen to him with his fan base.
Yes. Leave Vic Mignogna alone. Or leave Vic Mignogna alone.
Give him some space. He's just a man.
All right, and I guess with that takes us to the final segment of the A3K pod. Hello? The takeaway, and we'll give the honors to our guests. I mean, once again, AW, thank you so much for coming on, to the A3K podcast, and tell us a little bit about what you have coming up and where people can enjoy all the things that you do.
Okay, you say AWBralwer, or you also know me as AW from Twitter or Facebook or East Range. And right now on East Range, the most recent thing we have coming up is we have what I call the E3 preview, where we're going to discuss all of the big three console developers and say what we think they should focus on for this E3 and what our predictions are. And also coming up, I'm going to start back up Shepherd Syndrome TV, which is the nightly show that I used to do that covers all kind of otaku news. And also there'll be more contests giving away DVD box sets and things of that nature. So yeah, it's a good thing to keep an eye out for things that are going on with East Range. That's eastrange.weebly.com.
All right. And Cody, what do you have on the horizon?
Well, like I gave you most of it. Got the store coming out. A couple new other sides. We're trying to do something with Jameer. Jameer is going to be on our... we're going to be doing the summer season, which will probably air in the damn summer. We'll be in the middle of it. But our summer season previews, we always do a season preview, and Jameer is going to be in on that. Getting some other stuff set up. And of course, like I said, always doing Cloud Scratcher. And I'm going to take this time, since I don't have much else to say really quick, Crunchyroll, you done fucked up. You just strike one. I will ditch legit and go back to fan subs. I will ditch legit if you keep fucking me. You know what I'm talking about? JoJo, they're starting to do it. They're doing the shit that I talked about with the fucking name changes, because JoJo names everything after, like, musicians and bands and shit. And instead of fucking just changing spellings or whatever, they're just changing names completely. There was a character in the newest episode, just came out. His name's Captain Tennille, named after the captain in Tennille. And they changed his name in the subs. Again, why do you change names in subs? We can hear them say the correct name. We hear it. They say it in English. But they changed it to Captain Dragon. That's not even close. Don't start doing that. That's what All-Star Battle did. That was annoying as fuck. I swear to God, if you retroactively change Polnareff's name to Eiffel, I'm done with you. I'm done with your site. I will not have that. Do not do that. That's annoying and stupid. If you need to change a name because of copyrights, do what the PS1 fighter did. Apparently it's the only JoJo thing ever that actually localized it well. Just change the spelling, because that's all you need to do to get around a goddamn copyright. If you don't like it that he's called Captain Tennille, spell the name in the subs as like Captain Tennier or something, like Tenneer. Boom, you just got away from the copyright. It sounds like what they say. You're fucking with Japanese pronunciations. Do that. Don't do what All-Star Battle did, or I'm done with you. I need to get that off my chest, because it bugged the shit out of me when I saw that. I don't care if it's fanboyish or childish. Probably is. I don't care. I'm tired of this shit. Tired of these name changes. You're not gonna get sued. The Captain and Tennille are not gonna be like, just happened. We're fucking 80 years old, but they just happen to be on Crunchyroll. Like, is that character named after us? We gotta do something. Even though there's no precedent for that, because he's not called the Captain and Tennille, and I am pretty damn sure you can't get sued just because you have something with the same name that has no other connection with the copyrighted material.
But it leads to brand confusion.
It won't. And that's what pissed me off. Because unless Captain Tennille is named the Captain and Tennille and looks like the Captain and Tennille, but even then that falls under parody. So in no way, shape, or form, can these motherfuckers get sued and they still keep doing this, and it pisses me off to no end.
I don't think they can get sued by that because there's so many Journey to the West parodies where there's people named Goku flying around and no one's getting sued over that. It's like the same type of thing.
That's public domain, but but you have stuff all the time like Guilty Gear. The fact that Guilty Gear exists and has never been touched should just tell anyone that has a JoJo license, leave it the fuck alone, because Guilty Gear is riddled with as many references as JoJo, because there's a lot of stuff out there that has band name references. JoJo's not the only one. You have Guilty Gear, you have Bastard. A lot of stuff has references like that. Guilty Gear is like a shitload of them. Has characters that are named after bands. Has attacks that are named after bands. Fucking Kai Kiske, his first and last name are the first two lead singers of Halloween, and he has a move called Ride the Lightning, which is a Metallica album. I mean, you have moves with band names. You have characters named after bands and singers. You have a character in Guilty Gear that is designed to look like Axl Rose, and his name is Axl Low. Mm-hmm. Like, if Guilty Gear can get released here several times and never be fucked with, and nothing ever happen, and if that JoJo game can come out and only get like name spelling changes, which I can live with. If that can all happen, no one sued Capcom when they brought JoJo's Bizarre Adventure over here, and then they fucking re-released it in HD. Guess what they didn't do? Change names. They kept all the names the way they were when it was released here. The only one that was like egregious was changing Vanilla Ice's name to Iced. That was it. Everybody had the same name, just different spellings. That's all you gotta do. If all those shit could come out here and no one got sued, you don't have to fucking change Captain Tennille to Captain Dragon. That's stupid. Don't do that. So anyway, that's me getting off that my chest. It was bugging me. I had a geek moment. I had to nerd out for a minute. I had a fanboy moment, but it's out of my system now.
All right, and that leads to me. Crunchyroll, get on your shit. But as far as me, I'm concerned, anime3000.com, still tinkering around with the website. Finally worked out a lot of the bugs we had with the initial soft launch, and I'm trying to add a few things here and there to improve the site even further. So just keep checking that out. And a couple of other things, just trying to get the word out about a lot of the stuff we're doing. So if you're listening to this podcast and you enjoy what we do over at the A3K Podcast or any of the programming we have on the Anime 3000 network, tell a friend, let people know about us, and spread the word, because the more we grow is the more cool things we can do for you guys. And let us know if you have any comments to make about this episode in particular. Oh, I'm glad I just said that, because I sent an email out to Cody and a few other people. Somebody from the AAA Podcast sent me an email, or sent me a Skype, and they're trying to figure out this anime series. Somebody posed a question to them, and they asked if I knew it. And I didn't know it, because I didn't know it. But I'm going to put it out there, and if you guys know the name of this anime series, leave it in the comment section. It's an extremely vague description, but if you've watched this show, you would know exactly what it is. It is that type of description. And maybe you know it, AW. All right. It was at least 5 episodes long. Main characters were a human male and female, an elf, a dwarf, and a robot. The robot was called something like B12, and he sacrificed himself in the last episode to blow up an army of, I'm assuming it's supposed to be tanks, that were chasing the heroes. The next thing I remember is the dwarf and the elf being seduced by a shadow of a woman who turns into a beast, and they have to fight. The male human has intercourse with the witch, who tries to teleport him to the moon so he'll suffocate and die as they're doing the deed. And the anime does when a droplet of blood from a human girl falls into the mouth of a human male, transporting him into a different dimension where he's standing on top of either the Tokyo Tower or the Eiffel Tower screaming. So if you're able to
sounds like madness.
So if you're able to make sense of that, and you know exactly what that anime series is, please post it in the comment section. I'm dying to know what this is, because
oddly enough, I do believe I have seen this. It sounds so familiar, but I'm bad with names.
Oh no, I think that's the problem.
Because I think I know exactly what he's talking about.
Oh man, you don't.
I got a picture in my head and everything of something that sounds like that. I'm like, is this what he means?
I wish you could do an image search of it, of the picture in your head.
That'd be so convenient.
Oh, that sucks. Well, hopefully there's other people who are like you that actually know the name of it that could post it. And if you come up with the name, you definitely send it over, because now I want to know what this is, because it seems it's not too old. And another hint that's not on here, I think, is it's from the late 80s, early 90s. I believe it's from the late 80s, early 90s. So that's about it. Anything else, anything else, I will post it. But yeah, that's it for the A3K podcast. Once again, I want to thank AWBralwer for jumping on, and as always, Cody for being here. JD should be back next week. If not, we might have another guest host on here. And that's it. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to the A3K Network. Visit our website at anime3000.com to find even more content from the producers of this show. Be sure to share your thoughts about this episode by leaving some feedback in our comments section. Want to be featured on a future episode? Send your questions to contact@anime3000.com and address it to the podcast of your choice. You can even leave a voicemail at 954-780-6201. That's 954-780-6201. And as always, thank you for being you.